And hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 18 of the Fully Rendered Podcast. I am a siren, apparently. I am your first host, Brian the Pirate, and I am, of course, joined by the...
Pulp?
Yeah.
I don't know anymore.
Intro so far.
Yes.
So last time I got so messed up when I was trying to say OSP. It's Pulp Fictionally, by the way.
And, of course, the...
Amazing. Pulp Fiction. No, wait.
Oh, see?
That was on purpose. I'm an entertainer.
The team
Oh,
is here.
This is my art.
This is
It's your art.
the art of
And the
podcasting.
art. And scene.
And scene, yes. But welcome everyone. We've got an interesting, probably a bit of a downer show, to be honest. I was looking at the news of the last week, and there's a lot of sad stories. But hopefully we can pick it up with some of the cooler but fewer and lighter stories of the agenda. But before we do that, Pulp, do you want to tell everyone that you've just got a new thing that you were telling me about earlier? It's finished.
Right before we started, it's just a little funny story. I got a phone call about my wedding dress being done, and Brian got to witness me panic because they told me it was gonna. At first, I misunderstood the man and thought they were gonna charge me an extra $1,000 on alterations. But my dress is done. I get to pick it up. It's not an extra $1,000. It's the total of everything, including what I've already paid.
Yeah. But
so my dress is here, and I got my bouquet in the mail today.
Oh,
so,
what, the bouquet as well. I'm actually really excited to see it all. You better post pictures. Yeah,
it's orange.
Nice. And how's your week been doing? Have you been up to much this week?
I've just been trying to get all these final details down, dealing with my dog because the dog's getting boarded at the end of the month,
right.
And we're getting our marriage license next week, so there's a lot going on. And today
lots
I have
of
a
admin and paperwork.
Yeah,
basically.
it's so much. It's so much.
Licenses? I didn't know that was a thing.
Was it not a thing over there?
So we get registered.
I've never
here.
been married, so.
Oh no, I have never been married either. Can't say. This is my first one.
Someone's lying to you. Yeah, 50 quid that license.
It's like
one.
Yeah, we had to go to the county clerk. Yeah. And unfortunately, the way it works out is they make it very complicated that we have to drive over an hour to go get it because it has to be like a certain they assign you to the office.
Right.
And in order to you have to get it within 90 days before you actually get married here.
Okay.
Unless you do a courthouse wedding, and then otherwise it'll expire and you have to renew it. It's really silly.
Does that mean
is that similar to a shotgun wedding?
I'm not pregnant. I can't do a shotgun wedding.
Wait, shotgun weddings about being pregnant?
Yes,
it's basically like
pregnant women with shotguns.
It's not. The term comes from the father holding a shotgun at the man for getting his daughter pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. That's what it is. I'm not pregnant.
I'm
Kevin,
curious.
maybe.
So after the actual ceremony, do you guys have to sign any documents thereafter? Because that's what we do.
No idea. We're
So
kind of
has
winging
to
it
sign
as
an
we're going.
NDA.
So in the UK, you'd have the ceremony, and then the person who administers the ceremony usually goes, "Okay, now sign this big ass book," which is registering
that's
as
how
married.
It works.
Right.
I think that's how it works. The officiator has to it has something to do with it. I don't know. I don't have prior experience to this.
That's fair. No, that's fair. That's fair.
So we're kind of just winging it as we go.
Test run first.
Congrats.
Are you going to do a
Yeah,
rehearsal actually?
We don't have one.
No,
You
that's
have to
fair.
pay extra for that.
Really? I suppose you are
Of
like
course
renting
you
the
do. You
place.
gotta hire the fucking
Yeah, I
venue
guess.
and-
I guess.
Yeah, no, we're just gonna throw people down. Just go figure it out on your own.
I mean, I've never been married, but I did walk my sister down the aisle for her wedding, and there was no practice. They were like, "Okay, have you done this before?" I'm like, "No, I'm hungover," kind of thing. And then they were like, "Okay, just walk down at a casual pace." I'm like, "Sick, cool. That's what we're gonna do." But yeah, that was a good show.
Yeah, I think I'm short, so I have to walk pretty fast in order to keep up with tall people.
Right.
So one of
You're
my
gonna be
brothers.
tottering down the aisle.
Well, I have my brother's walking me down, and he's significantly taller.
Baby
than me.
steps, baby steps. Do you know how expensive these heels are?
Just get like
Slow down, goddammit.
just steal the wheels off of like a shopping trolley and then put them onto onto a
Just put
pallet.
training wheels on.
No,
So
Yeah,
they
no,
need to
just
go
put them on a
straight down
pallet.
the aisle.
And then you can
That
put
never happens with trolley wheels. You're gonna be like, oh,
get a
in the pews at the
Segway.
back.
just put some training wheels on each side of your wheel.
Segway.
Yeah, get a
Or
Segway.
one wheel,
If Cloud
if they
can do
hadn't
it,
recalled
you
them
can
all.
do it. There we go. But Peachy, sorry, how's your week been?
Not sure. I've been working on my Golden Demon entry.
Your golden demon
Oh.
entry. Is that a
Yeah.
euphemism?
In this instance, no.
Okay.
Golden Demon is the premier miniature painting competition.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
Hmm.
I want to compete. I don't want to win. Well, want
It
to
would be
win.
nice to win, but you're not aiming to win.
No,
per se.
well, it's not the kind of competition that a painter like me would win. But I really want to compete. So I've been like, I'm gonna do my best, because what I want out of it is, the thrill of competing, obviously.
Mhm.
But also, I kind of want to know how good I can paint something if I have over 300 hours to paint a miniature.
Right, and like set a
How long does it
benchmark.
take you on average to paint a miniature?
My standard 12 hours, just a normal size one. I can paint them quicker if I want to do like an army or something. But I've never just gone, I'm just gonna paint this until it's done, kind of deal.
Right.
Right.
So
Try and make a
I've been
masterpiece of
working
it.
on sculpting, which I've never done before.
Oh, that's
Because,
cool.
well, I've reposed the miniature and it needs a few gaps filled. I don't know why I'm
Okay.
like doing this with my boobs, but
You just
Oh,
gotta
I
fill
haven't been
those boobs.
sculpting boobs. I have not been
Well,
doing
good luck on the competition. That's awesome. I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, that'd be
Oh,
quite cool.
you will, because it's the only thing I'll be able to paint for the next. I know March is the first one, which is over in Chicago. So ours is probably going to be at least a month or so after that.
Okay.
Oh,
But
so
that's
is
the
it like
only
a
thing I'll be
circuit around the
painting.
world then?
So, yeah, they have golden demons all over the world.
Right, right.
Warhammer's pretty big now.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounded like an infection.
Well, yeah. Well, to be honest, the amount of plastic you end up with just growing out of different orifices is
Yeah.
kind of like an STI.
Yeah, I
Sounds
can
like you need to
imagine.
get that checked. How about you, Brian? How was your week?
My week's been relatively chill. I've been working, and then after work, I've been gone, I am tired, and then sleep. So for the most part, I haven't really been doing a lot. I've been trying to get back into doing some more artwork. So I've got a little project going on at the moment, trying to use a new program called Critter, because I'm trying to move away
Nice.
from Photoshop. So I'm just basically practicing in that. So I'm making a bit of a Halloween themed piece at the moment. That should hopefully have done in the next few
Spooky
days.
boys.
Spooky.
Oh, I've got some
Boy.
Halloween decorations.
Oh.
Okay, there he is.
Okay.
Ready?
Oh, that's
Ready?
cute. I like him. Oh my god.
At least 4 kilobytes on that sound sample there.
I was going to say, I didn't understand a single word apart
You
from
could hear
ha, ha, ha.
every bit.
That was the only bit I understood, the laugh, but that's fair, that's fair. Do you usually go all out for Halloween, Peachy? It's not really a thing over
I'm a
here, is it?
spooky boy. I've got skulls everywhere, so I don't really go out.
Have you ever seen the
Oh.
12-foot skeletons?
Yes, have you seen the added boner you can buy that glows in the dark?
No.
Well,
No,
now
of
you know
course
that
Of
exists.
course you found that.
It's Tears of the Kingdom all over again.
I like skulls. Skulls are fucking
God, it
cool.
is.
So I'm quite spooky around here anyway. But
That's I don't do any decorations myself, but I actually decorate my apartment with Halloween decorations.
Right,
So
because we're all
it's
massive
kind of like that
goths.
all the time.
mine and my girlfriend's anniversary is literally on Halloween.
Oh,
That's
We're
cute.
spooky boys.
ours is
Spooky.
I think ours is on Monday actually.
Yeah,
So-
same.
Brian. Buddy.
Bear with
Funny
me.
guy.
No. I'm good. Don't worry. I'm
no.
good. Please do not care for a care check or anything like that. I'm good. But
God.
but yeah. So my week's been like quite nice and chill. And what are you doing? What are you doing? But that's
I was adjusting my microphone and I accidentally pushed the porn button.
the porn
The
button.
porn button.
He has a
Mhm.
dedicated
I've
porn
never
button.
tested my sound.
Don't you?
on here.
I do not. I did have a "get your hands off my penis" button, and I see you know your judo well button, but they've since having to
Are
repair
they
the PC.
related?
They're from the same clip. Have you
Oh,
never
okay.
heard it? The clip of like
I
the
have not,
Australians getting
no.
arrested. He's like, oh, this is democracy manifest, and then like basically loads of Australian coppers are getting a famous dine and dasher, so someone who basically has famously run away from restaurants after eating there, and they catch him, and he's just really like pompous and like pontificating everywhere, and he's like, "Get your hands off my
penis!" Who you're talking about? That sounds very familiar.
You've almost certainly heard some clips from it.
He comes off very pretentious, but like, yeah. I think
He's like, "Do you see this gentleman? He has me in a headlock."
Dine and dasher.
Yeah, it's really funny, but yeah, it was basically some clips from that. Yeah,
of the lowest caliber.
Very much so, very much so. It's quite an old clip as well. I think it was from like the 80s or 90s.
Why is he being so pretentious?
I know, that's what's so funny about it. I'm pretty sure he could afford it. He just
he probably got off on it or something to that effect, to be fair. You know, some people just do weird shit just because they can, and it's like, oh, I got away with it. Kind of
Speaking of which, I stream on Twitch.
Wow.
You don't say. That does remind me though. Did you what happened with the mic? Did you buy a new one, or did you repair the old one?
I bought a new one.
What mic did you get?
Same one as before. I really like the AT2020.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Sounds good.
But I do kill them after. Was it 2 years? I think the last one as well lasted 2 years. Almost like we're talking to the month of when they both died, how long they've had them. So I kill them in a dedicated time. I'm very consistent with how I kill microphones.
So now you know when it comes to like the 2 year mark, just a month or so beforehand, you'd be like, time to buy another one. Before I have to double
I
up
should
again.
remember that, but instead I replaced all my cables. But I do have some nice cables, and I finally got the cable that I've always wanted. That is the nerdiest thing I've ever said. Please move on.
I was going to say. So the first topic is this one. I'm actually quite interested to hear what you think of this, PG, because obviously being Welsh and something similar, essentially, just being Welsh. But
I was curious about his response too.
Because obviously it's about language and the Welsh language, Cymraeg. Is that right?
Yeah, Cymraeg.
Cymraeg has been somewhat English washed, for lack of a better phrase, and it's it's being essentially phased out outside of Wales, as it were. And this is all about the Gaelic language. So Square Enix have recently posted on Twitter a clarification on what they believe the pronunciation is for Cait Sith, which is what I've been using since.
That's what I've always said.
Playing Final Fantasy VII when I was a kid. And they said in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Cait Sith is pronounced as Cait Sith. Now, I didn't know, and because of this, like I knew there was like, it's quite common for Square Enix and perhaps even other Japanese developers to like co-opt mythical creatures and stuff from other languages and other cultures. Like in Final Fantasy in particular, you got Shiva, Ifrit, Ramu, things like that. And they're all based on completely different cultures, and they're all often pronounced completely different in the games as they would be in that culture, and that appears to be the case with Cait Sith. It's supposed to technically be pronounced Ketchi because it's Gaelic, and it's based on a Scottish. Thank you. It's based on a Scottish myth about some like spirit cats that would potentially prank and haunt funerals and things like that. So the Gaelic community, of course, are quite upset. In particular, because in the Japanese localization of the game, they pronounce it Ketchi. So it's only for the English pronunciation they go out of their way to pronounce it phonetically, as opposed to how it's pronounced in Gaelic. Peachy, take it away, because I can see you. I can see you being like,
Well, no, like, so. I'm accidentally talk about Warhammer, but Warhammer has pronunciation guides for stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I disagree with some of them. Like arbites, which they call arbites. Fuck off, they're stupid. Or some people call Abaddon Abaddon, which sounds fucking stupid.
Right.
And it brings to mind something, death of the author. You know the concept death of the author?
Yeah.
When someone has created art, if you don't know, these two are very clever, so they know. When someone has created art and put it out into the public, it then becomes not just their art, it's how it's perceived and stuff. I doubt people are that angry. But the people who should be angry are the people that are being talked down to of, oh no, you say it like this, the stupid way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Say it how you want. Like, if I looked at that as a Welshman, I'd say Cait Sith.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. But
I've always
it's
said
based
Cait
on a
Sith,
specific
personally.
thing. I doubt that many people are that angry about the pronunciation of that.
Honest to God, though, I think more people were mad about the pronunciation of. I always said Mako, and they say Mako, and the whole throughout the whole game. I saw more people upset about that than Cait Sith.
Well, the thing is, I
Yeah.
think because obviously with Mako and Mako, it's something that commonly comes up in conversation because it's like a huge part of the storyline, whereas Cait Sith is like a bit of a side character, and no one knew it was because obviously, like, this is not to dunk on the Scottish and the Irish, but Gaelic myths and legends and stuff like that isn't a big feature in
No, and
modern
also
culture. You know, it's not often talked about.
Square Enix and a lot of like what you were saying, Japanese publishers, they're notorious for like combining different mythologies together and utilizing their names and just borrowing from them, which I have no issue with because honestly, like it gives you like more of the fans of them more interest, probably like a bit more intrigued to like look into it. I didn't know that Cait Sith was a Gaelic.
Yeah, exactly.
I was Gaelic until I played, I believe it was Persona 3 or Persona 4, because what I like about those games is they do give like a breakdown of, like, they have a description of like all the names that they use, so at least you kind of know a little bit of the history of them,
Right.
which is kind of neat. But it wasn't until I played that franchise that I knew that Cait Sith was Gaelic.
Right. And
They don't tell you the pronunciation.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not that generous.
Yeah, so obviously a lot of people, and it was very commonly mispronounced as Cait Sith, and no one knew otherwise, so it never came up unless you were someone who knew Gaelic and was like, that looks like it's a cat, and there's a lot of, like, even the crown is to do with like a part of one of the stories about the Ketchi specifically. So if you're Gaelic, you're like, hang on, but obviously in the grand like global community of Final Fantasy fans, people who are part of Scotland and Ireland are quite a small portion of the fan base, you know what I mean? So again, it's not something that would really come up. I think amongst them, there is going to be some, obviously, people who are very chill with it. I visibly have seen people very not okay with it because the thing with like Scotland, Ireland, and particularly Northern Ireland and Wales is England basically tried to wipe out their culture, like for lack of a better way of
that's fair.
They
phrasing.
tried to make being that nationality illegal,
Yeah.
which they couldn't do, so they did things like ban the language, so it probably struck a nerve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not doing that. It's
I don't think it's
because
that deep. It's that
the
deep here.
suits don't trust their audience. They're like, oh no, yeah, it's kind of, yeah, because the other one's difficult to say.
I think what's got people wound up is because they pronounce it correctly in the Japanese version of the game. So it's like, do they just not want to bother teaching English people, or people who speak English rather, how to pronounce it properly? Like, what it's like, I get it.
Pronouncing it correctly,
it
gives it depth, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And to be fair, the original games weren't voiced.
Correct.
So as a an English speaker, when I don't know how to pronounce something, and especially in the case of like Cait Sith, like that's not a term you see normally in the United States. I read things phonetically. So when I don't know how to pronounce something, it's like, so like there's a lot of times where I've done it on stream, I've done it like throughout my entire life. I will say a word and I've never heard it spoken out loud before. So I'll pronounce it the way I thought it was. And I've been made, I've had like people make fun of me. Like my brothers used to make fun of me for things like I was a dumb kid and I used to say Andromeda as Andromeda. Because I never heard it out loud.
I used to say superlative or superlative because I'd only ever read it.
I had to correct a friend with hyperbole the other day. They pronounced it hyperbole, and I was like, it's hyperbole.
Hyperbole!
Yeah.
A lot of people have said hyperbole. I think I said hyperbole the first time too. And
that sounds like a cool ass sport, though, doesn't it?
You're also listening to like English, like language rules.
Yeah.
And sometimes like what I like to do is if I'm reading, like a book, guys. Heard of those?
A book?
But I'll if I don't know how to pronounce something, or it's a word that comes up that I don't understand or I've never seen it before, I like to look it up. But sometimes I don't look up the pronunciation, and it's not really like a common thing. I just want to know what the fuck does this mean.
Yeah.
So with Cait Sith, CAIT would. I mean, I met people named Caitlin.
With that spelling, yeah, exactly.
CAITILIN. And Caitlyn Jenner is a good example.
Yeah.
So it's like, so you're naturally going to see that and go, Kate, Kate, and then of course we have the Sith from Star Wars. So I was just reading it the way it looked. So I mean, knowing how it's pronounced now, I'm not probably gonna say it that way because I'm just not out of like disrespect, just out of I'm going to forget.
Yeah, and I get that.
So,
I get that. I think it's also interesting that in Advent Children they did give Cait Sith a Scottish accent. So
you're right.
So they do acknowledge it, and I think there's even lore behind it. Like Reeves is obviously, spoiler alert if you've not played the Final Fantasy VII games yet, but Cait Sith is a robot that's being controlled by one of the government employees called Reeves, and his mum is basically like has a Scottish accent. It's obviously Scotland doesn't exist in Final Fantasy VII, and then he doesn't have the Scottish accent because he doesn't want people to make fun of him in the office at Shinra. So then he's like, oh, I'm controlling robot. I need to give it a voice that isn't my normal talking voice. Oh, I can actually use my Scottish accent. And that's why that's the lore behind it, apparently. So yeah, it's...
Where did they explain that?
You get like the books and stuff like that. And they're like, oh, here's some like extra stuff.
The extended universe.
Yeah, things like that, basically. Yeah. So yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I did think... No,
that's fascinating.
I did think Peach would be like a bit more, not that you're not, but more empathetic, given how obviously like your culture gets like shit on by the English all the time, kind of thing. So
I wouldn't say I'm not empathetic. I'm just
no, I wasn't.
Like,
yeah.
The reason is because white people can't say words too good.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. That's 100% fair.
That's
fair.
the reason, and I doubt people are that angry. There might be one or two, but they might want to go and see a therapist.
Some people are just like, some people are just a lot more passionate about things than others. Like I said, like I saw more people getting upset about the Mako Mako thing, and I just said Mako.
There's more people, isn't there? If you think about the cross section, like Brian said.
Yeah, it's
like I'm Welsh. My national anthem is literally about the Welsh language because England made it illegal. Then Henry VIII was like, oh, we kind of need these guys, so no, it's not legal anymore. So like I get it, but the world is now a massive melting pot, right?
Yeah.
Say it how you want to say it. I think it sounds cooler if you say it correctly, like how it's supposed to be pronounced. But if you say Cait Sith, sure.
Yeah. I think it's more of like, you're right. I mean,
I suppose we're just not
like
close
knowing
enough
how
to
it's
it.
actually pronounced because it's something like I never knew before. And until like Brian even said it, like I actually never heard the word, spoken correctly.
How'd you write that phonetically as well to tell people?
Yeah, right.
That's
the thing with phonetic language is like some of them, like I think Japanese is phonetic as well. There's a few. And then it's like when you start, but English is just so fucking stupid sometimes too.
It's different mouth sounds, right?
Yeah.
English is a softening of like a lot of romantic languages. So
English is really difficult sometimes because with words like we have things like kernel and stuff like that.
True.
So it's like it's almost like a safer way to go phonetic for a while because who knows what language rule is going to come in and just completely uproot your understanding of it.
I mean, if we really wanted to blow like your mind for phonetic pronunciation, just look at English place names. Like obviously the famous one is Worcester, and it's like
how the fuck you say this? How do you say this sauce? Worcestershire. Worcester.
Oh yeah, Worcestershire.
Where are the other letters going? What are you doing?
It's like all of it. Yeah, no, it's like English is just such a difficult language as it is. So I think a lot of times we try to be, at least in my case, I've tried to be easier on myself where it's like, you know what, I'm not even going to try to make up all the, I'm just going to try read phonetically. When someone corrects me, that's when I'll take that to heart and be like, okay, I'm an idiot.
I've just put the
You
name
will
of the...
you will sound cooler if you say catchy. You will sound way cooler.
Yeah.
And I'm sure fans will be calling it catchy, and everyone else will just be Cait. Whatever. What?
I've just put a city name in your chat, Pulp. How is that pronounced?
Leicester?
Close.
Oh,
That's probably the best attempt I've ever seen American make it. Not seeing that
it's
word
Leicester.
before. It's Leicester.
Leicester.
Yeah, that's just Leicester. But obviously most people go
LEI
Leicester.
is Lay usually.
Yeah.
Or Lay. Oh no, wait, Leicester. Actually, wait, no, I just that sounded in my head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Leicester. Okay.
Yeah, so we've got loads.
I'm gonna take you
like
to
that.
Nestle, and you'll be like, "What is that? How are you making those sounds from those letters?"
To be
Right,
fair,
yeah.
I think I've seen I think they're like a cheese named that. So
There is Leicester cheese. Yeah.
So I think I've heard someone say, yeah, it was probably Leicester. So
We
I
need
remember
catchy cheese, and then everyone will start pronouncing it in the Gaelic way.
just make it a cheese.
Wait.
Make it a cheese. That's how to get white people onto anything. Make it a cheese.
I tagged Peachy in a tweet that tickled me earlier. Peachy, how is cappuccino pronounced in Welsh?
Oh my god.
Okay, so cappuccino in Welsh, because Welsh is a dead language, we do invent words here and there. It's called, and my grandmother does call it this, frothy coffee.
Oh,
But it's spelled Welshly, like for lack of a better phrase. It's like got double F's at the beginning and
So-
everything.
This is how you would say, I like cappuccino in Welsh. Rydw i'n hoffi frothy coffee.
Love it.
I mean, that's not wrong way of describing it. It's like the best.
It's frothy coffee.
It is. It's basic. It's just froth and coffee.
I'm trying to
I was a
find the
barista
spelling
before,
of
and
it.
I remember making cappuccinos. And if you ever pick up the cup, it's so white. And when someone who orders it doesn't know what it is, they're always like, "What the hell is this?" It's froth and coffee. God damn it!
It's frothy. Yeah, you don't have to explain what you're getting, do you? Frothy coffee.
Yeah, no, that's the best way. I kind of love that a lot better than.
Yeah, so it's spelled. I've just put it on stream. So it's spelled FROTHI. So that's
So
the
double F
frothy.
is a letter.
So Welsh is just a silly language.
Wow! Wow!
Okay, like
Wow.
Okay, don't call him catchy, but what the fuck, bro?
But yeah, when I saw that, it proper tickled me. I was like, "Is it really just frothy coffee?"
I'm just a silly little English speaker. So
Bless you. Bless you. But yeah, that
bless
What
your
is
heart.
wrong about frothy coffee? Explain what a cappuccino is to
I
someone.
think it's
Boom.
just downright
Welsh.
adorable.
yeah. When I saw that menu, it just proper tickled me. I was giggling for a good few minutes. I was like, "I'm gonna tag Peachy. He's gonna hate me for it."
That's great. I love that.
Rydw i'n hoffi frothy coffee.
I love
There
it.
you go.
I love
And
it.
now you can tell people what you really like. But if you like an Americano, I guess that's not as. Americano is just called coffee.
It's just called coffee. Next subject is a bit of a downer, but an interesting one.
Oh no.
Especially in lieu of what happened with Epic. So as we all know,
Right.
Epic had laid off like 900 employees. And
900% of their workforce.
Yes, 900%.
That's gone up every time I've said
Wait,
that.
it was
Yeah.
really that many? That wasn't
It was-
exaggeration.
Yeah, it was about 900.
20%, was it?
It was 16%, which
100%?
is
that
about
really?
yeah.
That's
So
a lot of people.
that included
Yeah,
like
I think it's fine.
Mediatonic and loads of people at Mediatonic, which is 4 guys. There was another like relatively like well-known studio thrown in there as well, and it was across multiple departments as well. So it wasn't just like QA or something like that. It was all over the place. But the severance package was pretty good. Like you get 6 months pay in healthcare for those 6 months. You know, so a lot of people get a month usually here in the UK if you get made redundant and stuff like that.
But we
So-
already have healthcare, so
but we do already have healthcare. That's true. That's
kind
true.
of.
So with BioWare, there are currently 25 people doing a class action lawsuit against them to sue them for better severance. So the statement is, on August 23rd of this year, Edmonton video game studio BioWare ULC terminated 50 employees without cause. In most recent court cases of termination without a cause, Alberta courts have awarded at least 1 month of severance severance pay per year of service, with the full value of all benefits included. The severance that BioWare offered to these employees was significantly less than this amount. Several of these ex-employees attempted to negotiate with BioWare for adequate severance, but BioWare refused to increase its severance amounts. So, just to TLDR that, usually if you've worked there for 25 years or whatever, you would get at month's pay per year. So you'd get 25 months of severance pay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's apparently quite common in Alberta. BioWare don't care, apparently.
Yeah. So the big issue with this is what all those people were working on is NDA. So if they want to get a job and they can't show the work that they've been doing, they can't talk about
can't
yeah,
use
they
their
can't use
portfolio.
his for their experience
have-
and the references.
How long is that game being made for? Like 5 years?
Yeah, something like that.
They have a gap of nothing to show. So that is very difficult to get. If you've got no proof that you've been doing stuff,
Yeah.
people are going to be like, oh, okay.
That's a good
Oh,
point.
you're working at Bio? Were you making the coffee? They can't say, that, oh, I was doing this. Here's the things I made. Here's the artwork. Here's
On the
assets
other
or
hand,
whatever.
when you are in an interview and someone goes, why is there a gap in your CV? You can go, sorry, I was under NDA.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it depends on the employer, though. Whoever's interviewing, they might not,
They can't
might
prove
find
how
that
good that. And think how much
Yeah,
you've improved at a skill you've been working on for 5
That's-
years. Do you know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
Like you
That does suck.
practice something for 5 years. After 5 years, it's going to be better.
Yeah.
And like top tier work you're doing, because BioWare wants top tier work. Like they can't show that, so it's like they cannot. They can't really get a job on their merit. They can't do that, and they deserve a severance pay that's going to make sure that they're safe and their families are fed and clothed and shit.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's not like, oh, agreed, people have had this, we need this. It's like they literally don't know if they can even get a job because they can't prove their work. They can't show what they can do.
Yeah, it's like, why has your portfolio not been updated for 5 years? Oh, I literally cannot show you because I will get sued into the ground if I do, kind of thing. So yeah,
You can hint at how good your stuff was, but no one can see it. You can't legally,
Yeah,
they
and-
can't show it.
yeah. Hopefully,
Are you going
though-
to take a rest because they're like, oh, maybe you were fired because your work was shit? Like you can't put that on the people employing the new people. They want to make the best decision. So these people are kind of let out to dry, and it's very unfair.
I suppose another interesting
That's very
aspect
sad.
is that the not the defense, but the legal team for these 50 employees is saying that it's without cause, which would imply that they were not told why they were made redundant. It was just like, oh yeah, we're just sacking you.
Well,
Bye.
it's cost cutting, isn't it? Because they're shit in their pants.
Yeah, but usually there is a public statement that goes with that, such as with Epic. Epic have like clearly stated it's because we invested so much. Like Tim Sweeney, even like it was a weird statement, but Tim Sweeney was like, "Oh, I made some bad decisions about the metaverse and we invested too much. We're getting rid of these people to make up for those costs. And by the way, looking forward to updates in the future about the metaverse," kind of thing. It was a very weird statement. Like it literally went like that in terms of like plot points. So it was a very, very bizarre one. But with this, it's literally seemingly like, oh, we've made you redundant.
Oh yeah, the last thing they released was Anthem. I forgot about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't really been keeping up with BioWare actually since Anthem, so I guess that makes sense why.
Well, they're also working on, of course, on the is it Dreadwolf?
Can't
Oh,
remember
yeah. That's right. I'm not gonna lie. I keep forgetting that exists. I remember. Like,
So BioWare, they fired everyone working on the fucking thing.
Yeah,
know,
it's
they're
mostly
fine.
writers as well, is my
Jesus
understanding, which is obviously
Christ.
quite important for a BioWare game because that's predominantly what draws people into them, the writing and
That's the runtime there, isn't it? You need.
so it's a bit of a weird one. Do you have
Dude,
any more things to say on the BioWare front?
It just sucks for those people.
really
and
sucks, dude.
I really hope they can get a proper severance because that just like you've just thrown away the next couple of years of your life until that stuff is released or the NDA is lifted. They got nothing to show what they've been doing for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just such a huge shame, dude.
We may as well segue then to a running theme of Embracer is floundering because for those who don't know, words are hard. Embracer recently, in the past so many years, have been hiring and buying lots of studios and lots of projects, and then there was a deal that they were hoping to go through with Saudi Arabia. I think a lot of people are actually happy it didn't go through because Saudi Arabia are making a massive push to get into the gaming space. But people don't want them to do that because of Bonesaw, their leader, just likes to assassinate journalists and stuff on other people's countries. Lots of things to...
With a name like Bonesaw!
Yeah, I know, right? President Bonesaw of Saudi Arabia.
That sounds like a Metal Gear Solid president. President Bonesaw.
It wouldn't surprise me if he gets credited for inspiring another Metal Gear Solid game, to be honest. But as part of the floundering, we've been getting news down the grapevine that they're trying to sell off Gearbox, who they only bought for like 1.2 billion 2 years ago.
Oh, million?
Billion.
Oh, billion. I thought you said million.
Yeah, no,
I
1.2 billion.
think Randy's going to pull the trigger on that. He's going to buy Gearbox back.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Because as much of a he is, I think he's proud of what he's done at Gearbox, and,
I mean,
there is a
cool
lot
shit
to be proud of. But he is a bit of a,
Yeah.
but good things have come out of that, and he's rightfully proud of that. And he probably has this thing in the back of his head. He wants to make Gearbox great again.
Yeah.
To coin a phrase that's never been used before.
It's brand new. Never heard of it.
Yeah.
The value is a lot cheaper than what was paid for it, so it's probably in assets and all stuff, but he could probably get the cash together to buy that, and I think Randy's going to own it again.
I hope someone does pick it up.
Yeah, me too.
One of the things on the agenda is a game that I actually really, really liked called Gigantic. They've done like a closed event. They just sent emails to like a bunch of people and they're like, yo, do you want to play Gigantic for the weekend? For those who don't know, Gigantic was almost like a cross of like an Overwatch style hero shooter, but it was third person, kind of like Smite, and kind of like a MOBA. But it didn't have like, you didn't push lanes or anything like that. You just had like these different heroes that you could play, and then you had to do an objective.
Like an objective.
Yeah. And I love that game. It had a lot of character to it. It was very fun. It was quite polished. Like there was no bugs, things like that. But unfortunately, it got shut down back in 17. Sorry. And then suddenly there's like, oh, we're doing this random weekend. Do you want to play it? And it was a private event. So it's like, wait, are they bringing back Gigantic? I hope they do, because it was fantastic. But going back to the original point, that was one example of what was a really, really cool game that they'd worked on. So I do hope they do get picked up, because there is a lot of talent there, clearly. I think their weakest...
There is. As much as, that person's not very nice, like, because of him, stuff has got done.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about Gigantic, but I can't.
Oh, were you in? Yeah, okay, fair. Yeah, it was on the NDA. I wasn't invited, so I can talk about it. Yeah, it was this weekend, and something else. But yeah, hopefully it does mean that more is coming from Gigantic. But yeah, so Embracer have been getting rid of loads of studios.
What can I talk? So it is interesting about a game like Gigantic, because League of Legends has seen a massive dip in its audience as of late.
Really?
Yeah, the League of Legends audience is actually quite older now.
That makes sense.
Not many new people are coming in, but like a year ago, 2 years ago, it blew up and a lot of people were into it. So I don't know if, like, I really enjoy MOBAs and MOBA style. But when the hero shooter came in, a lot of interest dip from MOBAs. I would definitely put Gigantic closer to the MOBA than a hero shooter type game, for sure. But there's been multiple failed MOBAs, and the one that has ruled the roost is League and Dota, which has always been a strong second, but it's been a definite second. But I don't know.
I wonder if it's partially due to like self-cannibalizing, because obviously they've got a lot of League-based projects. So I wonder if people who have been invested in the League universe have then been like, oh, here's another game that is probably more my type nowadays, especially as I've gotten older. that is using those same characters that I love, and then I've moved away from League to that game. Like maybe even
I
just
think
going to teamfight tactics and
Valorant
stuff.
hit pretty hard. And I think a lot of people who knew of Riot tried it out and then decided that was their game.
Yeah.
Because those kind of games, they are, oh, this is my game, and you just play this. You know, like
100%.
like Path of Exile. You know,
It
this is
it
my game.
becomes
I'm
the
gonna play that.
hobby.
You do play other stuff, but you're like, you go back to this. This is my game.
Yeah, that one game
And
becomes your hobby.
I think a lot of people, because Riot Games are making other games, because they've done some spin-off games which have done okay, I believe. I don't think they've been amazing. I don't know. It's shocking because what was the anime?
Arcane.
The League. Arcane was fucking incredible.
Arcane.
And
Is
got
that
a lot of
classified as an
people
anime?
interested. Well, it's animated, whatever. Got a lot of people interested.
That was a
in League.
legitimate question. I wasn't being a jerk.
And I think what happened was that they might have been starting to dip, and then that gave them more interest, but it was a short-term interest. Not everyone who was like, oh, I'm going to play League now because Arcane is awesome. I think they didn't retain a lot of those people, so now the slump is showing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's for MOBAs, because every time a new MOBA comes out, which is a lot more rare these days, I try it and I play it and I'm like, oh, this is good, but the audience isn't there. So
yeah, I suspect part of the reason why, despite the influx of players and probably a lot of returning players from Arcane, the lack of retention is probably because the onboarding process for new players is pretty crap, largely because of the community. I speak from personal experience. I was like, I do actually like all the characters and stuff. I'll give League a go. I used to be pretty good at MOBAs. And then it was just like, oh, I'm going to play against 20 Smurfs for the next 20 games. And that's my first play experience, just getting shit on by people who are pretending that they're new to the game, but they've actually got years of experience in the game. So yeah, it's not a fun experience as a new player to go into a free-to-play game, especially a MOBA, only to get shit on and not have the chance to enjoy it. So I wonder if that is another factor.
I've been avoiding games like that. I like the plague. I just have never been interested in them because I would always go in as a new player, and it doesn't. Just I have no interest.
Yeah, like that's
there is a lot of technical skill in a MOBA, and you can.
Oh yeah, totally.
But if someone knows the game, if someone's been playing for, like, even if they're not that great,
yeah,
if they know the game,
advantage.
Yeah,
it's a huge advantage.
I've had like friends who are really into like things like League, and tried to convince me into playing it.
That's what it is.
You know what?
Ryan, you're 100% right. Like, look at hero shooters. Like, that is just point and click, right?
Yeah.
Click on heads. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, there is outplay and different things you can do, but at the base level, the amount someone's been playing, they might know their character more and stuff, but everyone knows click on head.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Like, the skill floor for that is just so much lower than a MOBA.
Yeah. And like knowing how to push your creeps, getting your last hits in, things like that. Because the game doesn't really put you through a tutorial per se. It's just like, oh, here's a tooltip that might mention something.
League is much more simplified than something like Dota as well.
Yeah.
Like that League is a simpler option. It's still fun. Like I don't think it's a stupid game at all, but it's definitely a lower floor than something like Dota or Heroes of
which is largely why it's probably more popular, because it was more accessible. Yeah, but the new player experience is like, oh, I'm a new player, I want to try this game, and then you're actually playing against veteran players, not because of matchmaking, but because they've also made new accounts, because there's no barrier to entry, that you don't have to buy the game again, you just make a new account.
Such a douchey move, dude.
Yeah, like I've had a Smurf account before, but that was usually because like in Smite I had a Smurf account because I was helping my friend learn the game, and I didn't want him being dragged into my like match made
yeah, but that's entirely different.
And but I would
He's still a Smurf. He's still going to be clowning all fools.
Well, no, I would make a point of like this. So in Smite, usually what I would do is I would be in the lane and I'd just be like jumping back and forth, trying not to get hit without hitting the people back and stuff like that. So I'd play like Emir, who was just a giant derpy ice giant. I would just be like boing, 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 like in front of them, which I imagine was a little bit frustrating, just like trying to hit this dude and he's just avoiding you perfectly by bouncing around like a twat. But I wouldn't go around and dunk on them kind of thing, because obviously I knew
that's
how rude
what I
that was.
assumed that you were referring to. That's why I said I felt it was a little different. But I mean, I don't know. I don't play any of these games, so
But,
Smurfing. Today I learned the term smurfing and what that means.
Oh, there you
Smurfing is when you purposely make a new account just so you can shit on new players, basically, and pretend that you're a new player yourself.
Which sounds very douchey.
Yes, 100%. 100% douchey.
It's not that rife, to be honest. It is, like, it exists. But, like, do you know how much I've got invested in my League account? Like, I've got skins. I think I have every character apart from the last 4 that were released, which I could just buy because I've had that account for a long time. Like, people do like their skins and flex in a different way. But yeah, smurfing does happen. And you can't go into rank straight away when you're a new player. But I don't know if there's anything you can change about the game other than charge for it. But no, League is a free-to-play game. Its value comes from skins and extras and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, like, personally, when I see a new MOBA come out now, I will be happy to try other MOBAs if I'm one of the first people at the gate, kind of thing. It's like, oh, this is a new release. We're all new. I can guarantee there's not going to be smurfs and stuff like that. But if it's an already established one, I just avoid it because I know my onboarding experience is just going to be painful. So,
That's fair.
But there were other, like, sad news things. Team 17 is losing their CEO and is dropping a load of staff.
Sad this week.
Yeah, Team 17 are getting
Was
rid
this
of...
the CEO that was like, hey, crypto, NFTs, this is the way forward?
I believe so, yeah. And they're getting rid of QA as well. Like, namely QA, which is obviously quite integral. Like, a lot of people don't realize how important QA is. Like, when people are like, oh, why is this game buggy? It's like, because no one listens to QA, who probably told them about these bugs and stuff like that. So that's... they're not going to get rid of the QA process. They will be third party. Yes, they're
like Neutronic or something like that.
Yeah.
They'll be third partying. So Q&A, they just won't have in-house Q&A, which, I don't know, is it more efficient to have them in-house?
I would say so, because, like... I imagine at some point there's going to be someone in the comments who's going to be like, this Brian's advocating for getting rid of, like, working from home. But, like, in terms of, like, collaboration and stuff, obviously being in the house is going to be a lot more effective than dealing with third parties. There's also been a number of cases where third parties have not been very good at QAing games. I believe Redfall is an example of where a third party was used for QA, for example. So I could be wrong.
Third party for Redfall?
I can't remember if it was. I think it was Redfall, but there is a game recently that got absolutely shit on by gamers for having bugs and all sorts of stuff, and it was a third-party QA.
Oh, the gamers! Yeah, probably.
Because obviously, with being a third party, your goal is to make money from your client at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, like, it's common for corners to be cut and things like that, and I think that the story at the time was they were trying to get through as many small bugs as possible because they were getting paid per bug discovered or something to that effect. So obviously, if you find all the small ones and put less time into finding and trying to replicate the big ones, you're going to get more of those out the door and thus paid more money in return. So yeah, that's
a weird way of doing it.
It is a weird way of doing it.
I've worked in Q&A before, and that's definitely not how it was.
Yeah, I'm just repeating the story.
I've never done QA, but if that's the way it goes, like, that's very bizarre.
That is very odd.
Yeah, but either way, like, generally, from my experience, especially working in IT, it's good to avoid third parties where you can, because it just, again, better collaboration and usually better communication in general. But yeah, so that's Team 17. NaughtyDog also cut contracts for 25 of their contractors. There's a lot of speculation that it's because, so obviously Sony purchased Bungie. Bungie is famous for having one of the best shooters, regardless of what you think of it, that's, like, widely considered. So they had Bungie evaluate the multiplayer game that is being made with for The Last of Us. And apparently they weren't fond of it, and it did not get evaluated well. And now these 25 contractors have had their contracts just ended abruptly. And yeah, so some people think that The Last of Us multiplayer project is getting paused. It was supposed to originally be part of the Last of Us Part 2, I believe, or the remake. And then they were like, oh, we're going to make it a dedicated game. And apparently it's not going very well, unfortunately. So yeah, that's another 25 people that just lost their job. I think that's all of the redundancies
People
and
being
whatnot.
sacked.
Yeah, I think that's all the sacking.
I mean, Naughty Dog like did like throughout the whole like development or like half of the development of Last of Us 2, they just like relied like on contractors or independent contractors, and I feel like it's just such a fucking lame way of going about that.
They're also
They don't want to give them benefit. It's all about benefits. They don't want to. They don't want to pay for that and overtime.
they're also
And when,
notorious for crunch as well.
No, I remember that. I remember the story coming up. So when I saw that on the agenda, I was like, "Geez, they're still using contractors." It's just such a douchey way of going about it because they don't have to pay overtime, they don't have to pay benefits, and they can fire them whenever they want.
Yeah, 100%.
It's really like it's a very scumbaggy way of going about it and treating people.
Yeah.
So good to know that they're still doing they're up to their own.
Up to their weirdness, but
yeah,
potentially also means that the multiplayer game is just not going to happen, for better or for worse.
It feels like the sort of PlayStation 2 era. So let's just tack multiplayer on it. Just put it on.
I'm just like, I mean, I could see like how like a multiplayer would work in the Last of Us universe, but like
there was
for those kind of games, like it doesn't feel like a game that needs it.
Well, there was multiplayer in the first game, and whilst it wasn't popular, it was beloved by those.
There's a reason why, I guess.
Well, no. So it wasn't.
Services make money, Pulp. That's why these kind of things.
I understand that. I understand that.
So the original multiplayer like mode in the first game was beloved by those who play it. Just not a lot of people played it because they didn't get The Last of Us for multiplayer. It was just, we've played the single player, I'm going to put it away now.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, I understand that live service makes money, but like when you have a game that's predominantly focused on like its storytelling, you don't usually, it's kind of like, they did it with Mass Effect as well. I mean, the Mass Effect multiplayer was fine. I don't remember too much about it. It was kind of fun, if I remember correctly. But it's like, no one's going to go buy a Mass Effect game just to go play the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Same likewise with The Last of Us. So I think I vaguely remember a multiplayer for Last of Us, but that's not the first thing you're going to think of.
Yeah. Well, no. I didn't even play it, so like, because again, it was just like, it's a story-driven game. You're gonna play the story.
I'm not super crazy about The Last of Us personally.
Yeah, no, that's fair. We've got about 5 more minutes before we're going to break. Is there any of the topics in the filler part of the agenda that any of you want to jump into?
Oh yeah, I'd like to bitch about Forza Motorsport.
Oh really?
Oh, good. I would love to hear this.
Oh, no, I haven't played it.
Oh, okay. Is it a 5-minute bitch, or is it something that we're gonna want for part 2?
Yeah, if I can do a 4-minute bitch, because it's a very simple reason why I'm bitching about it.
Okay. Apart
from I think this will be fixed in a patch, but wheel users, people who are using like rigs and stuff like that, apparently out the box, not good. You need to mess with it a lot, and it's still not the best, but you know, it's serviceable if you play around with it. So that's probably going to be fixed in a patch, because everyone has said, no, this is really bad on a wheel. And most people who play on wheels and have rigs are using a controller.
Right.
It's still very simcade. It's not super simmy. The physics are basic, but they're there. There's breadth of physics, like tire wear and stuff like that, but there's not much depth to those. They simulate in a very simple way. Right. But my biggest problem with it is how much it fucking costs. That's not how much a video game costs, and that is not how much a game which will turn into a live service where you buy cars and tracks should cost on release.
I don't actually know how much it costs, because I'm just
so if you wanted to play it early, it would cost you £90. So if you want to play, I don't think it's quite out yet.
Is that for like a deluxe edition or some shit? Or...
That's the top edition, and you get to play it 5 days early.
Right.
It's £60 if you want to play it on release.
Damn. Or Game Pass.
We're talking like there's 12 tracks, I believe. Bunch of cars which you won't get unless you get the higher editions and stuff like that. It's too much for a game, especially a game that will, if you want longevity on like your Gran Turismo. No, that is ridiculous, and games should not cost that much.
Nope.
Do you have any alternative recommendations for racing sim fans?
Racing sim fans aren't going to be bothered because they won't be playing Forza. I like Forza Motorsport. I like Horizon, but Motorsport is a little more simmy. It's still an arcade. It's not a simulation.
Right.
Just no. If you want a simcade, you currently play Horizon. There's so much more content for it, and it's a lot cheaper now. Those games do hold their value quite well. They don't seem to go on sale that often. But this is it's
or Motorsport.
both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah, they don't tend to go on. I think it's Turn 10 that does them, and they do make decent games. They do.
They're very pretty as well.
If this was £50, I would buy it. I would definitely buy it,
but not for 70.
Well,
that's fair. No,
$70 probably. Yeah,
dude.
Do you have Game Pass, PG?
No.
No, fair.
And I have told you a million times why.
Yeah, no, I get that. I just
because they don't want you to own your games. They don't want. Look what's happening with fucking Nintendo now. You don't own those games. You got to download them now. Maybe you don't own them. You can't get them again because physical games don't exist anymore. They don't want you to own your games. They don't want you to own your consoles. They if they could charge you for breathing and you don't pay, you die. They'd love to do that. Okay, they want to own everything, and you own nothing. You just get to partake and join in society because Jimmy down the road is playing the Halo, but you can't afford that, so you rent it, but then you don't own the game. They don't want you to own anything.
Is that Sorry, the reason I'm smiling is because you could say that for Steam as well.
I'm smiling because it's like Peachy's yelling at my face.
It's like an angry egg just screaming into a microphone.
Yes. I am so done with greedy publishers, dude.
I get it.
I'm with you on that.
And as you said, we'll be alluding to it later with because Nintendo's doing it again. But first, we're going to go on a break. So go take a stroll around your houses. Maybe have a cup of tea. I could do with a cup of tea.
And get another cup of coffee.
And then we'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Enjoy the music, and mics will be a frothy coffee. Oh. But mics will be hot.
Mics are hot.
Enjoy.
Mics are hot.
Welcome back, everyone, to part 2 of the Fully Rendered Podcast, episode 18. We've got some more juicy topics to discuss today in this second part of the show. Let's start off with something that's very Twitch-centric. Have you guys been keeping up with what's been going on with the whole
I didn't
Embedded?
even hear about this until I read it in your agenda.
Right.
Agenda.
Okay. Paul,
I actually heard about this. Does this have something to do with Vextra Life?
He is one of the people that have been cited as an example. So yes.
I remember my fiance was telling me about this because he uses Vextra Life a lot.
Right. Okay. So what I'll do, for the benefit of yourselves as well as the audience listening and watching at home, I will explain what we mean by embedding, and then I'll explain what's happening. And then if you have any questions, of course, interrupt me. So, embedding on Twitch is something that Twitch allow. If you have your own website, for example, you can have the Twitch player on your website. So if people go to your website and watch the stream, it will count towards your viewership, and it's a way for discovery, for example, things like that. It's an alternative place to watch the stream without having to be natively on the Twitch website. Now,
a lot of team websites will do this as well.
Yeah, so things like that, basically. Now, that is a completely legitimate use of embedding. If you do want to put your stream on your own personal website, go ham, do it as much as you like. What has been discussed in the past few weeks, and it usually crops up like every year or so, namely because of people like, or the brand Fex. Is it Fextra Life or F Extra Life? I've never known how to pronounce it.
Fextra Life.
Yeah, same.
Don't. Yeah, like that.
It's catchy all over again. Fuck. but yeah, so like they've been cited as an example. So what Fextra Life do is they have a Wikipedia page. So they have their own wikis for Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, a couple of others as well. And on every single page of their site, there will be a teeny tiny box which is an embed of their channel on Twitch. So when they're live...
Yeah, this is what I heard about.
Yeah, so it shows live on all these Wikipedia pages. So you could be, for example, visiting the Elden Ring wiki, looking for some information, and in a corner of the screen that you're not paying attention to is this little stream that you probably can't even see that well, because the way the player works is that whilst it can scale the actual stream, it doesn't scale the menus and stuff. So like, you know, when you hover over your player to see what the title is, for example, and it will bring up the title and all that. So all that's covering the stream anyway. So you can't even visually see what's going on. And then that increases the player count because obviously thousands of people are using this web page. So what's happening is you'll have someone such as Fextra Life in a category with like 4,000 viewers. That's just an arbitrary example. But in reality, only about 400 of those people are actually watching and in the stream. what does this mean in the broader terms of things? Because there's probably people at home, particularly just regular viewers, non-streamers, going, okay, who cares?
Are ads delivered then?
Ads are delivered. As far as I'm aware, though, Twitch does recognize that it's an embedded stream, but that view will come from, and I don't think they count it for that reason. That's not been confirmed, though. But the
I don't
more
know how they would be able to do that.
They'll have back-end things like, so for example, if someone clicks on a tweet, they can see that someone's come from Twitter, for example, to view your stream, stuff like that. So they'll be able to identify where the embeds are. But the main problems with this practice, because it's essentially view botting. You know, people aren't legitimately watching; they just happen to be on the page, and it's classing it as a view because there's a box that says, "Oh yeah, there's someone looking at the stream." So the impacts of this is, for example, if you go to look for a new stream that you want to watch, you click on a category. More often than not, you're going by high to low viewership, because there is a correlation of higher viewership usually means they're probably good at streaming or entertaining, things like that. So that slot is being taken up by someone who doesn't deserve to be there in the first place. So you're knocking people down in the directory and making discoverability more difficult for other people. Then you've got the aspect that if you are sponsored or doing some kind of activation, you're obviously going to be charging by the primary metric, which is concurrent viewers. So usually, like this, obviously mileage does vary, but more often than not, one viewer is $1 per hour. So if you've got 4,000 viewers, you can go to an advertiser, HelloFresh or I don't know, Elgato, whoever, and be like, okay, I'm going to do an ad spot for you for an hour. That's $4,000, please. And they go, yeah, cool. You've got 4,000 viewers. That sounds right. We're happy to do that. But the return on investment is then significantly lower because the reality is they only actually have 400. So they should have been charged $400, but they were charged 4,000, and they only got the return of investment of 400. So that means not only is the advertiser being scammed, and again, viewers at home are probably going, big, who cares? Who cares about the advertisers? But what that means is when that same advertiser goes to go, like say, they've just had an activation with Extra Life, they had that poor experience, and they go, hey, Peachy, we want to do a sponsor deal with you. And then Peachy goes, okay, I'll charge you $1 per viewer per hour. And they go, no, we've had our pants pulled down before. We're not going to be charge that, because they may not even realize it's because of the embeds. They just don't think the return on investment is that valuable, which means streamers across the industry will be paid less, which means they would have to subsidize to get the money back. So that means running more ads on Twitch, running more activations and stuff like that, which leads to a poorer viewer experience. And again, when it comes to the discovery side of things, you as someone on Twitch may go, oh, this person's in the very top slot, they have the most viewers, they must be entertaining. You go to the stream's shit, chat's dead, no one's talking, the person's clearly not as entertaining as 4,000 viewers would merit.
My stream right now?
Apologies. And then you go, okay, well, I've had a poor experience, so now I'm going to go off the website and maybe not even come back to Twitch. Maybe Twitch isn't my thing because it turns out this is the viewer experience and it's not that great. So you're driving viewers away and things like that. So overall, it's bad for the streamers. And if it's bad for the streamers have to make up for it. So it's bad for the viewers. So there have been some people who are particularly vocal about this. Gathalion and Asmongold. And recently, Gathalion posted a extension, which I'm now using, and it's pretty good. But the extension, as you can see on screen, will show you how many legitimate viewers are in the stream. So, for example, Asmongold's viewers, 95.6 of them are unique activated viewers, I believe is the terminology. Now, to explain some things, if you were to get this extension, it's called Stream Charts Twitch Stats. It's a Google Chrome extension. It works with Brave, which is what I use. Sometimes the number is going to be over 100. There are a couple of reasons for this. They could be on multiple tabs, like a squad stream, stuff like that. It could be that people have just got multiple tabs open because they forgot they had a tab open in the first place and then opened a second tab, things like that. There's a load of reasons why it might go over 100. That is expected behavior. What you want to look for is for people that have, I don't know, say 16.2% legitimate viewers out of 4,003 or 4,300 rather, 4.3k. So obviously that's a huge discrepancy. That means that advertisers are going to not get their return on investment and thus not put on those or give off the same payments to follow up activations and other streamers. So this extension basically calls out this bloke called Redbird, who's essentially botting by using embeds. I think New World has a website, New World database, and they do embeds. And I don't know what the means to get your stream as part of that embed is, but a lot of people who play New World are playing New World because they know they'll get higher viewers because of the embeds and things like that. So another aspect of this is people have actually spoken to Dan Clancy about it, because as I mentioned before, technically this is legitimate because it's within TOS, you're allowed to embed, but clearly this is an exploit. What Dan Clancy said is they're looking to block the I think they're going to be blocking these people from being able to embed because they're exploiting it. On a
person by person basis,
I believe so. Like, so there are people who are
not very robust, is it?
Yeah, well, like I have what I think would be a better solution, which I'll go to in a moment. But there's bad actors that are known for doing it. This guy's known for doing it in particular. Fextra Life is known for doing it in particular. So I think they're all going to get blacklisted, basically. Personally, I do think there is value in the legitimate use of embedding, such as having it on your personal website.
Discoverability on Twitch sucks. You need to go other places.
Yeah.
And so as long as you're doing it properly for discoverability, rather than having a tiny player hidden in the corner of a page that no one looks at, kind of thing. So I just think they should disable it counting towards your view count. That's the solution. That should be all it needs to be. Like, yes, you can still see it. People can still discover you from all these third-party websites and things like that.
As long as they click on the embed, then it'll take them to Twitch, and then that's
is that what you mean? Well, no, it'll take, like, even if they don't, like, say, I technically own a domain, drunkenstrategy.com. I haven't made a website yet, but eventually I do intend to have my stream on that website as well. Right. So if they do choose to view it on there, it just doesn't mean, it means that my viewer count wouldn't go up by 1 if one person was watching it through their website. But then it can still be discovered that way. So if you do have a Wikipedia page and you do want to legitimately be discovered by people checking out the Wikipedia page, you're not getting...
The problem with that is if you're running events or things where people will be going off-site to watch that, websites that will consolidate a bunch of streams and maybe watching 4 streamers play a game together.
Esports and things like that as well. Yeah, no, that's fair.
I mean, wouldn't there be something way they could coordinate with Twitch in order to have those views be legitimate?
Yes.
You know?
But
again, that's not robust, is it? That's per person.
I don't know anything about like
the same
how to.
I don't know anything about anything.
No, I don't know anything about anything.
Who the fuck are you? I don't even know who I am.
Yeah, it would be difficult, and the reason for that is because there's not enough staff to mandate.
No, it's just like more of that was more me spitballing. It's like would they be able to like coordinate it? Like, you know, just have esports, you know, manage team.
Twitch love automation, right? Yeah, they love automation. So there's gonna have to be. I don't know. Let's see. The thing is, if someone's getting 20% of their views on somewhere else, that's probably legitimate.
Yeah.
But if 80% is not on site, unless you're running an event,
and plus, like, if they're on the For You page, not For You page, sorry, front page, that would obviously lower down the percentage as well. So there are legit cases where you would have a number lower than maybe 80%. But when it's
they're going to be blacklisting sites, aren't they? And then just not counting them.
Probably, yeah. So I imagine they'll be blacklisting the Wikipedia pages and things like that. But what do you guys think? Like, what do you think the solution is? Are you bothered by embeds? Like, it's something that has bothered me because it does impact everyone.
I mean, it does kind of bother me. Like, and it's like this, like, it's more on a different level though, because like I've had, when I used to do like more promotion, like on Instagram, like shit, like kind of similar.
Yeah.
Get a little bit like, you know, with analytics, when like some people have skewed their own analytics, can like
botting likes and things like that.
What you just said, I've had like not advertisers, but like brands for like sponsorships have like reached out to me, and like I've literally had someone say because of another person chart, like, you know, their experience with them screwed over like something for me. So like I have that empathy in that, you know, because I don't like, I haven't been streaming much, so I'm not really like focusing too much about like sponsorships lately. So I don't seek them out. But like I can relate on that level of like how that can absolutely screw over the little guy, because like they're trying to establish themselves, they're trying to make money, and you have somebody like, you know, just I'm only using Vextra because that's the only one I know about. That can screws other people over, and it does come up. It does strike me as artificial views.
Yeah. Oh,
even
it
though
absolutely
they're
is.
there, it's within the TOS.
Yeah.
It just something about
It's
it
a
just seems
loophole,
really
isn't it? That they need to close.
It's
it's
100%
very
loophole.
disingenuous, in my opinion, because like if there's a way that they could separate those views without the use of without the use of a plugin or an extension.
And that's the thing. Like, it's something that's been around for a very long time. But because
it just hasn't been brought to the forefront until now.
Yeah, because like it's a topic that often comes up like once a year. Like, there's many Twitch topics that come up every year where someone's like, "Oh my god, I've just discovered this thing where people can exploit it," and it's like, yeah. Unfortunately, nothing can happen. And this like the stance has always been, "Oh well, Twitch allows it, so fuck you, I don't care," kind of thing. But
those creators aren't doing anything wrong. For the record, they're not doing anything
that's
wrong.
where it gets like a little dicey on like to actually give an opinion on this, because realistically they're not violating the TOS if it's allowed.
Yeah, they're working within the rules that have been set for them.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't.
But
I'm
it's
just
an
saying, like in the
exploit.
case of the like,
It is.
if there was something they could do, Twitch could do on the back end, so that we could separate those views from the total view count. And again, like, you know, if it, you know, since it impacts discoverability, then if there's a way they can, I don't know. I know so little about this.
The reason it's come to the forefront is because streaming is a growing industry. Influencers is a growing industry. So we're now getting sponsors, communities, companies rather, and things like that coming from outside of like the gaming sphere. We're like,
taken for a ride.
No,
we're new to this space. Let's get a sponsorship on Twitch with someone, kind of thing. And then their first experience is getting ripped off.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, so in my experience, like when just using the Instagram example, it's like I would have brands reach out to me and they would ask me to send them a screenshot of my analytics. And if you're doing, and so they knew like how exactly they're going to, like, you know, pay accordingly to make sure they're not getting, like, you know, a bad deal out of it.
Yeah.
And if they're inflated analytics because of embedding, then that's disingenuous in that case. And that's where it's going to start impacting. It is fraud if you want to look at it that way. Even though they're within their own guidelines, they're not, like, it's within Twitch's guidelines. When it comes to the advertisers, like, I understand why people go like, who cares about the advertisers? They're getting scammed. It's not. So you shouldn't. It's no one.
That's what is fueling the industry to continue the industry.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
And it's. And that's not. It's more the bigger picture here.
Yeah.
Like, who cares if an advertiser loses some money out and gets scammed out of some money? Who fucking cares? But you are going to care when that advertiser starts pulling out from wanting to ever sponsor someone on Twitch because of inflated artificial analytics.
Yeah, and then your favorite streamers doing ads every 8 minutes. You're like, I wanted to watch this stream. Yeah,
or the terrible ads where you're basically selling stuff, which I never take. Because you're trying to make ends meet. Like, streamers are just trying to make ends meet.
Yeah,
only the very top, like all of us are in the top like 2-3% of Twitch, and we're not exactly earning bank.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really difficult. And that's going to reduce the quality.
And this sort of thing makes it harder for you to make ends meet, because then you're going to have, like what Brian said, like, you have that one person, that one advertiser, like, they got screwed over, so then they're going to reach out to Peachy or either of you, and then it's like, well, no, you know what, and they're going to lowball you.
Yeah, 100%.
Or they're going to give you a target-based thing where they can't lose because they've been shitting too much.
That's what I mean. It's like, and I've actually heard the phrase, like, when I said about, like, having a similar, like, experience of, like, having that lowball happen, and then you say, well, no, here are my analytics, this is how much I feel I should be paid. And I had an advertiser one time say, I don't think you're worth that, because of another bad experience they had with another influencer.
And that is absolutely happening at the moment as well. We've had like some folks on Twitter who there's been a couple of people who work for like third parties who are the middleman. So, like, say Coca-Cola are like, oh, I want to do an activation on Twitch with someone, then they'll go to like Leviacore or something like that, or Phoenix, whatever the other one's called, like a third party who deals with managing influencers and things like that. and they have actually remarked that this has become an issue because advertisers are going, oh, we did one with X channel and we got fuck all return on investment, and it's like, oh yeah, that's because they embed, and then they're like,
Yeah,
what's embedding? Like, because they're completely naive to it as well. And even the more experienced people who have worked with Twitch streamers for a longer period, even they can succumb to it because they don't, it's not something you think of. You don't think, oh yeah, they've got 4,000 viewers, that's what the stats say. And then if you look deeper, it's like, but they're only getting 1 follower every day kind of thing, despite having 4,000 viewers and stuff like that.
That's where like it's really dicey with this, because like you don't want to take away from the analytics that are coming from embedding if it's like, you know, what you said about esports and tournaments and things like that, because that's not fair to those people.
There are other things as well, especially for smaller creators. Like if you're playing indie games, they will very often embed you on their website. They will link you to things if there's like a games festival. I've been part of a Welsh creative festival where my views doubled because I was being embedded.
Yeah, same. Pillars of Eternity.
They
were watching that. That is legitimate.
No, the thing is, that's why I said it's dicey, because like in that case, that's a legitimate, like, you know, where that's where like the analytics are legitimate. But when you're embedding, like, and I'm not trying to make fun of Extra Life. It's just because
how do you police that?
Yeah, that's exactly it. 'Cause like I use Extra Life a lot, and like I don't really. Like, and usually it's like I'm zoning out, playing my game, and it's like, oh shit, I need to know where this is. I'm not in, like, and I'm not on the Twitch website, and I don't even know that they have an embedded stream, so I'm not giving them a view, and I didn't even know I was giving them a view. I'm not even watching it. I'm not here for this.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here because I want to know where the last weapon is for Eliza Peaks. I'm fucking tired of it.
I figured it out. You know how many fucking pop-ups are on websites now? Like it's the fucking 90s. If you've got an embedded thing, you got to click. You know, like how you have to click intended for mature audiences and all that.
Yeah,
it's a click.
I think that would be a good way to police it.
That's an activated view, right?
Yeah, because like, how many times have you like? Because like
all the legitimate ones are like, we're watching.
Dan Clancy, if you want to send money to fully rendered at paypal.me for that brilliant idea.
No, that's actually a really good idea, because there's times like I've gone on websites and like you'll just like, I don't know, read an article, or like you're looking at a guide, and then just out of nowhere there's like audio, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Oh my god, who's talking to me? And you're trying
and you have to scroll to the bottom of the website.
You just look, it's like your pop-up blocker didn't work. Like you're like, what the fuck is going on? And then you find out it's like, oh my god, someone's stream is on.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't sign up for this. That would be that's a great idea. Peachy.
That puts the onus on the viewer, so it is an activated viewer, and that counts.
I don't, because well, I mean, think about it. Like, it kind of feels in a way a little invasive, where it's like I'm just here to chill out, find my guide, and it's like I'm not watching. Like, why am I didn't sign up for this.
It is rare I would click on one of those windows and see what's happening, but it has happened. I've been looking at a game and there's been an embedded on the website, and I'm like, oh, what is this game? I'll look.
This is a more petty complaint, because it also could be like, you know, because like Steam has like all their you know, the streams like set up, or like you go on to
you do stream via Steam though.
Yeah, no, I'm just using that as an example, because it's something like I said, this is more like a petty complaint for myself. If you go on a page and like a store page, and then there's a developer stream, which I mean, fine, but if I set my Steam ups to turn those off. Like I have to like actually go in and like look at it if I want to, because frankly I don't want to see those, because what the game has been, I've had games spoiled for me, like bosses spoiled for me or something, because I went on to, you know, there's a Steam page or store page, and then all of a sudden there's a developer stream and they're way further in the game than I am, or I haven't even started the game, and then it's like I find out later, I'm like, oh, that was like a really late game boss. Oh, that's thanks. Nice. And same thing can happen
as someone who has been asked a couple of times to stream the developer's game on Steam. Fucking watch my stream, bitch. Sorry, bitch. Damn it.
You fucked up.
I fucked. Damn it.
Yeah, like I was gonna do one for Iritus, which is kind of like the darkest dungeon like clone, but it was more like it had more of like a zombies and mummies and like Egyptian themes to it and stuff like that.
Tell me when you do one of those streams and I'll check it. But if it's not you, I'm not clicking it.
The good thing about that though is like usually what would happen is again a third party will come through and they'll be like, oh, the dev are looking for a streamer, and it's not based on what it's not based on what your concurrent viewers are. It's just we need someone who knows how to stream, and here's an hourly rate.
Yeah.
I won't say who offered me for that game, but like I was offered $50 an hour and multiple time slots, and so that is because there is a guaranteed like viewership, people looking for the game who want to know that game, because it's all done through Steam. It's not embedding your Twitch page, for example. So that, you know, covers that base, because you can't really fake those viewerships. Whereas of course on Twitch, it's being malicious. These people know what they're doing. And like I said, whilst it's within TOS for Twitch, if I was an advertiser, I would definitely look at the legality of
want
it
to know.
and be like, that's probably fraud.
Right, because it is fraud, because if you're charging an advertiser based on your viewer count, your viewership,
they're asking for your analytics on that website within that website's TOS, and that is true. That is 100% what the analytics are on that website.
Well, that's where it gets like a little like it gets so like confusing, because like, you know, when it comes to like Instagram analytics, I'm just falling back on that because that's just what I know. When you pull up your analytics, they do talk about, you know, it's not just like here's how many followers you have. It's like how many likes, how many comments do you get, how many comments, how dense are the
engagement
comments?
ratios? Yeah,
it's a lot more about the engagement, and that's where like, you know, some people can wear like bots and shit like that, you know, can like really like artificially inflate someone's analytics. That's why like, you know, fake is so annoying with Instagram. And you have an account where it's like a bunch of fake accounts or bot accounts are following it, and they get these inflated analytics, and again, same shit, no return. But when they see when they send over those analytics, it looks like there is going to be a big return. And it's the same thing when with all these embeds, they're legitimate analytics, but they're not.
But it's obfuscating the source.
These aren't active engaging viewers. They're not like people in their chat. Someone did Katago in my chat just said that they were actively watching an Extra live stream once, and there was like 3 people chatting, including themselves.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not cool, man.
Yeah, it's not. It's absolutely malicious. And one thing I liked out of all this is when Gathalion posted those screenshots, Dr. Lupo retweeted it and was like, PR companies, pay attention, download this extension. And to repeat, because I do recommend it. It does a couple of other things as well. It shows you like growth and stuff like that. It's quite beneficial to you as streamers as well as to viewers. It was Stream Charts Twitch Stats. So if you just whack that in Google, give it a download. It's just a Chrome extension. But yeah, so Lupo was like, yo, PR companies, download this. And people have just been calling out botters and stuff like that. We've been discovering that there are people who are trying to they make AI profile pictures, then they'll get like botted footage, and then they'll just they'll get affiliate and stuff like that, and then they're clearly botting viewers, and they're just spamming ads every 8 minutes. Infinite money hack kind of thing. So there are actually channels that are just doing that and stuff. So you can
that is against
those.
TOS.
That is absolutely against TOS. But yeah, so
I just want to point out that these creators that we've mentioned by name aren't doing anything against TOS. They're not. Yeah, I know. They're not doing anything wrong. They are working within the guidelines they've been given.
They're working within the rules.
They are working within the rules. It's the letter of the law, not the spirit of the law. Yeah. But they aren't doing anything wrong. They are allowed to do. They're not doing
anything wrong. It starts becoming wrong when they start accepting sponsorships and compensation for that based on those analytics.
They're not. They're still not doing anything wrong, but it is definitely. First of all, it's a detriment. It's bad. Yeah. It shouldn't be happening, and somebody needs to fix about it.
Their advertisers, though, if you're giving those.
Well. No, because those advertisers are like, what are your numbers? Like, these advertisers aren't very educated on this kind of stuff. And a lot of people aren't, like, by all these people are getting called out. Twitch definitely needs to do something. But I just want to point out that these people aren't doing anything wrong. And they're doing the grind.
I think it's the wordage that's getting people
I am like on the stand. I am in the position that they are within the guidelines. So they're not.
They're morally wrong.
Yeah. They're playing within the rules. Like they're playing within the rules,
so
but
I don't want to say they're like being like, you know, intentionally malicious or anything like that. Like that's not where I'm coming from. It's more about like, I mean, it has a lot to do with like just, you know, Like it just feels just disingenuous. That's all it feels to me.
It is definitely, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not calling these people out, or like I
am.
feel like I'm you can.
Yeah.
Because like I understand like the grind and like how, and I'm looking at it from like a different perspective of like using it from a different platform and from a different industry, and how that, and I could see how it can impact things. And the shitty thing is like when this is unfortunately going to negatively impact smaller streamers or people that are being genuine. They have
it impacts everyone on the platform.
Yeah.
Both
but if they're within the
guidelines,
guidelines, then you can't actually say they're doing something wrong until they accept compensation for that. Well, that's when it starts feeling dishonest.
That's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, like, if I was to put myself in their shoes, of course they're cheating. Of course they're playing the system. Discoverability on Twitch is wank. If you want to get discovered, you need a high view account. So I get why they're doing it. It's still shitty and a dick move, but I get it. The onus, however, should be on Twitch to recognize that it is an exploitable rule, and they should be doing something about it. They should have done something about it years ago, because this has been going on for some time.
Hit it with a nuclear bomb.
Yeah,
they need to do it properly.
No, and it's like, because you don't want to harm, like, you know, like you're saying about like the, you know, the esports teams and tournaments and, you know, certain events. Like, you don't want to harm those people who are reliant on that discoverability from embedding. Yeah. I'm talking to specifically places like, and sorry Fextra, but I'm gonna make fun of you again, but like having it on your wiki page that thousands of people go to all the time to go look up something like, I want to know where this, you know, I can't find this secret entrance in my Elden Ring game.
And the stream is Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
it's the same game. Yeah.
And it's like, and what if like, I don't even fucking like this game?
Yeah. And it's hidden in the bottom corner.
No, but you know what I mean? It's like, you're like, maybe I'm not a fan of whatever you're playing. I don't care what you're playing. I'm here for Cyberpunk. I'm here for Elden Ring. Shut up.
Yeah. It's a loophole that they need to sort out.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. I'm 100% there.
To summarize,
it also makes the wiki page shit. I mean, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So to summarize, it's a dick move. Hopefully, Twitch does something about it. In the meantime, there's an extension to help us and viewers alike to avoid such bad actors.
I still think that what PG recommended was the better idea. Just, you know, give people the option of clicking on the stream when it's embedded, because
legitimate views, people are clicking on that, right?
Yeah,
dude, if I'm interested, I will click on it. If I see someone streaming something that I'm interested in, I'll click on it. But I don't want to be forced into, or like, like I said, it feels weird that I'm just here checking out something, and then all of a sudden it's like I'm giving someone a view.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm giving someone a view without even like, I'm not even watching it, or when the stream pops up and I'm like, what is that? Who's yelling at me?
100%. The next few topics I'm just going to quickly fire through, so because we're running short on time. There's some juicy stuff I want to cover as well. Darktide has had a bit of a revamp. They've done a big patch and they've like redone a skill system. PG,
I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played it yet.
So I imagine we'll probably get some co-op play in at some point. Maybe the three of us can play it together post wedding.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, cool. Speaking of co-op gameplay, viewers at home, on the, did we agree that it's 17th? What was the date?
19th.
The 19th. We are going to be doing a hen-do, as we would say in the UK. So it's going to be for myself, Peachy, and Paul. We're going to be playing a game together because we don't get the opportunity due to time zones. Unfortunately, Peachy and I can't make it to the US because it's thousands of pounds and we're poor. So
this is going to be a makeshift little celebration with Peachy, Brian, and my fiance will be there.
Yep, and
playing all together.
Yeah, community members will be able to play with us. We're not going to have you on comms. Do bear that in mind because that would just be a shit show. But if you do want to join in, we're going to be playing some Turbo Golf Racing, which was recently on sale. I'm not sure if it was. It was pretty cheap though. It's like $5. And it's Rocket League meets golf, and it's a fun time. So we'll be doing that.
I played the demo. It is fun.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
We may potentially indulge in some other games. I think we've set aside like 3 hours, so it will either be 3 majestic hours of Turbo Golf, or we might throw other things in there. We'll see how it goes. But yes, that is on the 19th, and it will be at 8 p.m. Will it still
It's
be British
11
summertime?
a.m. my time.
11 a.m. LA time. So yes, other topics to cover. Cyberpunk 2077 2. Is that what it's going to be? Is it 2772 or is it
I'm
going
really
to
hoping
Cyberpunk 2?
Cyberpunk.
Or just a different year? Yeah, like whatever.
I
It'll
hope
be
it's for years.
Cyberpunk
2078.
Ramshackle or something.
Yeah.
Or the city it's based in this time.
2077
Oh, that would
plus
be
one.
good.
New London.
Yeah, but the developers CD Projekt Red have confirmed that they'll be moving away from Red Engine to Unreal Engine 5. Now, a lot of
This is a
people,
shock.
yeah, so a lot of people, like we were discussing last week, have remarked that obviously, surely that means retooling, training people and things like that. And CD Projekt Red have said, well, actually, it's not going to be. We can actually pretty much import most of our stuff from Red Engine into Unreal Engine anyway. And apparently, a lot of their staff are familiar with Unreal, which is cool, I guess, because Unreal
It sounds
does.
about right. If you're working on that kind of game, you're probably building on Unreal.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it because I'm sure we can all agree Unreal has.
I bet you
been
part
quite
of
impressive.
their pathways is actually using Unreal to build stuff as well.
Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Yeah. But either way,
But
I'm
I am
excited.
shocked because of how much fucking work they've put into that engine. The new update is fucking phenomenal. There are still bugs though. I think
Oh, have you
it's
still come across
bugs. I
bugs?
think they're like, do you know what?
It
We
could
can't
be.
do this.
Yeah, it could well be.
But there was just a huge update that I haven't finished Phantom Liberty, but there was a huge update. I think it was yesterday. I just downloaded. Didn't they do some bug fixes on that?
It wasn't huge, but they did some fixes.
Felt
Yeah.
big. It felt big. It took forever to install.
That's what she said.
Oh, I hate it.
To be
Not
fair,
to me, she didn't.
to be fair, they didn't
Peachy.
say anything about their other games. Obviously, they're doing the 4 other Witcher games at the moment or whatnot.
Why? The reason they're doing this is because their engine is becoming a creation engine. It's just spaghetti on spaghetti,
Yeah,
expanding the stuff and not rebuilding the engine, just adding
yeah.
bits
It's
to it.
Frankenstein's
And
engine.
that's where we're getting all the nonsense and stuff from.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, it sucks though because you want as many engines as possible, right? So every game isn't the same. Not that games on that engine are the same, but
Yeah.
different
Variety is the
artistical
spice of
tools.
life.
Yes, exactly. Because Unity is dead.
Yeah, unfortunately. Another one is KOTOR Remake is getting cancelled. This is speculation, but people are pretty confident about it because the reveal trailer was delisted. Now, some have argued that usually when they delist trailers, it's because of music licenses. And others have countered that, saying, surely the game you're remaking, you're wanting to keep licensed. So why have they not relicensed it if that was the case? So yeah, a lot of people are suspecting that KOTOR is in the shitter. Guess who owns KOTOR?
Who owns KOTOR?
Embracer Group, who we mentioned earlier in the show, is
it's
basically
dead.
selling
It's fucking
everyone.
dead.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Come on.
Yeah.
Dude, come on. This is just a sad day.
It is a sad day.
I
I
don't
did.
like
I
today.
did warn us. I did warn everyone that it was a bit of a bummer episode, unfortunately.
I
Peachy,
love
this one's probably
KOTOR.
gonna.
This is like really sad news for me.
Skylines.
Yeah.
Skylines,
So
oh no.
the less mean bit for Peachy, at least, is there's going to be a delay for those who are going to be playing it on console. It's going to be delayed till next year. It's looking around about March-ish next year for those who want to play it. I believe it's due out in 2 weeks for PC.
Yeah.
The recommended spec though is pretty eye-popping. They recommend
Spicy.
they recommend a 3080 for 1080p
So I'll tell you why this is.
because it's bad.
No, the reason for this is anyone who's ever played City Skylines knows this. When you get to a certain size, the calculations, I can't remember what the pawns are called in the game, but the calculations, like, it doesn't matter how beefy your PC is, it just cannot deal. So I think they're offloading a lot of computation onto the GPU rather than the CPU,
The VRAM.
so they can keep a consistent frame rate, at least at 30, because I've had City Skylines on my rig drop to 20 something.
Oh really?
It's
And
but
you got
it's
a
not
pretty rig.
it's not too bad, like, because you're not playing an action game where you need that. But that is probably the biggest. Like, everyone wants City Skylines, but on a newer engine, so it runs better. That's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
when I read that, I was like, yeah, they're offloading so many computations because a GPU is crazy computations. CPUs aren't focused on computations so much anymore, and GPUs are really pushing that because numbers, all them rays, all them tracings, all them polygons. It's very good at that.
Yeah.
I assume it will drop down as recommended at 3080, but this is probably why it's delayed on console as well, because console can't run that right now.
Yeah, they do specify
the way a console
10.
is set up, they don't really have a CPU over here doing stuff and a GPU over here doing stuff. They work in tandem. That's how you get more power out of less specifications. And then when they work together, you can get workarounds and stuff. So that's why it's delayed on console. I'm actually happy. It sucks. I think that recommended spec will go down. But I'm happy that they are doing this because it's got to be for that performance that the original Skylines had. That engine is so old at this point.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I'm going to play the wait and see. I am going to wait for the reviews on this one. Just to play it safe, because the last thing I want is to be like, oh, it's because you need 10 gigs of VRAM, and then it turns out you need 10 gigs of VRAM just to keep it at 20 FPS kind of thing. Like,
well, 4070's got like 12 gigs. Well, there's a 4070 with 12 gigs of VRAM.
I think that's the TI, but nonetheless, that's still an expensive card. Like,
yeah, that's a really
that
card.
is kind of mid-range now, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like Nvidia's
still
spec, it's mid-range, but in terms of cost, it's high-end for the consumer at the end of the day.
A lot more computation is going on to GPU, which is probably for the best because that frees up our CPUs to do other stuff and keep stuff running. But yeah, when I saw that, like recommended 3080, ooh.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, really? Like, how small do you want your potential player base to be?
People will play this game at 14 and have been playing the original Skylines at 14.
I had to double check.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a GTX 1080. What have you got again, Peachy?
I have a 3080.
I got a 1080 Ti and a 3080.
Fair. Yeah, that's for me, it's going to be a wait and see. It does look like it's going to be pretty, at least.
I'll be getting it on release. I've watched a lot of videos on it, and I'm like, I can't wait.
Right.
I love the other game. I love it.
Yeah, it was my chill out game.
Although wait about 3 months when all the missing stuff has been filled in by modders, and then it'll be the perfect game.
Yeah, and you don't have to get any of the DLCs.
Already.
It does. It does.
They've introduced a lot of stuff that are staples of mods from the original one, and I don't know if they've hired the mods or made their own version. I don't know yet. Until I get my hands on it, I don't know.
Right. Well, we look forward to your review in that case. We can expect it on your YouTube.
I'm excited to hear it.
Yeah. No. To be fair, like
I hold your review in high regard.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I am also likewise genuinely looking forward to seeing what you have to say on it because I want to play it safe because we've been burned so many times.
Peachy's though probably the one that would know the best, like have the best like input about this.
Yeah. 100%.
How many hours do I have in the original City Skylines, which I haven't played for about a year now? City Skylines. Yeah, I wouldn't bother. I've only got 373 hours.
300. How many have I got? Let's see. Apparently 31. I definitely have a lot more than that.
Apparently not.
Because I used to, that was one of my mainstream games for a while. Like it was my go-to chill out game.
I think
what was the next thing? There was another one. Final topic of the evening then. Elon Musk is a clown. Thanks for watching the show, everyone.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
See ya, bye.
This is supposed to be news, Brian.
So, for those not aware, Elon Musk apparently is really into his aesthetics. So now, when you go and look at, say, PC Gamer, for example, when they post a news article, usually it will show like a thumbnail and the headline below it. Now it looks something more like this. For example, this article is, well, I don't know, because it doesn't tell you. It just says the caption of the tweet, which makes perfect sense to me. And then it's a picture of, I can't remember his name, but the robot from Titanfall 2, which is a fantastic game, by the way.
Play it. It's cheap as fuck right now.
Absolutely.
And the multiplayer is banging, apparently.
Yeah, like it's proper like kicked off again, which is great.
Taken off again, yeah.
Yeah, I think they fixed the matchmaking and stuff like that. But you've also got tweets like this, like "Welcome to my magical realm," and then it's just a picture of Gale, and usually there would be a headline down here, but it makes no sense. Or you could have, "Oh Peter, what happened to you?" and then it's just a picture of a man, and it's just like no one knows what this means.
That's Peter Molyneux. We all know what happened. His mouth got faster than his brain.
Well,
Oh my
so
God,
and
that's fucking hilarious.
And that's the thing. So what a lot of people are doing, like another example is the Game Ranks channel. They don't post like anything with a tweet. They just post the article. So now it just looks like their timeline is just pictures because the only thing that's on it is this website. So people are scrolling past these news articles, not even aware they're news articles because they just think it's out of context pictures. And apparently,
So someone told Elon that he makes great business decisions, and he took that way to heart because that's what's going on here.
well, apparently, because like I mentioned, it's because of aesthetics. So the reason
Who's
he's
telling him that?
I want
this
to know
is
who
him.
his friends are.
This is him. He thinks it's aesthetically pleasing to get rid of it.
Elon needs friends
And he
to tell
he
him,
said
no, dude.
that the headline bit takes up too much vertical space. It was like
Where?
like it was literally just a
Where?
little bit of stuff here, yeah. Like and then like you could just have it so it puts it somewhere else. Maybe it makes the picture smaller, and you put the caption
home
to the
button is
side.
still
Oh
a
my
birdhouse.
God, dude.
Correct, chat.
He's
Correct.
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
So he wants to remove retweets and likes
So,
and
yeah.
just show engagement, right?
Yeah, so he has announced that they intend to remove this bit basically at the bottom where it shows how many comments, how many retweets, how
Why?
many likes. If you click on the
Who are
post,
his
it will still show him.
friends?
Yeah.
But
If you go
otherwise,
into the post.
you'll only be able to see this number here, the views, the impressions button, basically.
Sorry, Pop. Did you ask why?
Why?
No, I want to know
Let-
who his friends are.
Allow me to tell you why he's removing those things. Because the majority of people who pay for their blue tick don't get likes and retweets very often.
Mm-hmm.
They might get a lot of engagements because but they don't get likes and retweets, so they're not really getting any value for the money they're giving. So Elon
So by
really
taking it
wants.
away, you're hiding the fact. Oh my God.
Bearing in mind as well,
Oh my God.
if you have
That is the goofiest shit I've ever heard.
if you have verified or Twitter Blue, have they literally just called it verified now? Or does it not have an official name?
It's Twitter Blue, I thought so.
Oh, fair.
Yeah,
But
Twitter Blue. Hang on, if you premium, it's called premium
it's called
now.
premium
Oh,
now.
now it's
So
premium.
bearing in mind, if you have premium, you are incentivized to post bullshit to drive engagement, like controversial takes and things like that. So ratios and things become a lot more obvious because people are just trying to get the engagement to get the ad revenue. So if you hide the engagement, then people aren't going to be like, oh, this has got 10,000 comments but 153 likes. This is someone talking bullshit. Because you won't know because it's hidden. So you have to click into it, which gets more engagement, more money for the advertisers. It's not aesthetics. It's him being a silly cunt. That's what it is. That's 100% what it is. Like, yeah.
What a
That, and
silly
he doesn't
bastard.
want to see anymore when he gets ratioed either. So, you know.
If you would have told me a couple of years ago,
You know he hates when he gets ratioed.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
if you would told me a
Makes
couple
me
of years
happy.
ago that there was a site where you could get X premium, I would have not thought that was social media. I would have thought that was porn.
It sounds like porn.
Premium
100%.
porn.
Premium
100%.
porn. X premium.
On the back of
That's like
that,
softcore.
another
It's not even a good porn. It's the softcore.
just
Suck porn.
Ah! Elon, what have you done?
not again. But yeah, just off the back of that, another extension recommendation. You can get a extension called Old Twitter, which I highly recommend. It lets you see the headlines again.
Oh,
It will probably mean that he won't be able to hide like the analytics stuff again. It also, you can customize the fuck out of it. It's got loads of accessibility options. So highly recommend.
Until he removes the API restrictions for that.
Yeah, maybe one day. But yeah, at the
don't give
moment,
him any ideas.
yeah, at the moment, if you want a better
He'll take it
Twitter,
as his
get
own.
Old Twitter, the extension, which I've been using recently. It's been really cool.
Oh God, man, I so many extensions these days that you need.
Yeah, unfortunately. Do we have
Oh,
any
God.
things that we want to talk about before we do shout
Did
outs?
we miss anything?
I don't think we missed anything actually. Oh wait, Tony Hawk.
Oh, sorry, it's because we talked about it in the pre-stream. Yes, Tony Hawk 1 and 2 is on Steam as of 2 days ago. 1 and 2
Yeah.
remastered. So if you've been holding off and waiting for it to be on Steam, it is now there. Go get it. Go have fun.
It's still published by Blizzard Activision, though. Activision Blizzard, whatever the fuck. It's still
on Steam.
Oh, that's a point. We didn't talk about Diablo 4 going to Steam
though.
as well, and Warhammer. Diablo 4 is coming to Steam. It's probably going to get review bombed. The reason,
Yeah, for sure.
the reason Overwatch got review bombed, by the way, is because of the stuff going on in China. You can't play Overwatch in China unless you do like other things. Like it's not on native launchers. You have to get it from certain places. So when it got added to Steam, it was the only place that Chinese players could play it. So they were venting their frustrations about the bullshit that was going down with Nexon or whatever. I don't think it was Nexon, but some kind of publisher in China. So that's why Overwatch has been so heavily like review bombed. There are obviously other criticisms about Overwatch and Overwatch 2. I can never seriously call it Overwatch 2, but
Just call it Underwatch.
Underwatch, yeah. But a lot of people are predicting Diablo 4 is also going to get review bombed because of the poor decisions they've been making about the game.
laughing.
Did you want to talk about Warhammer, Peachy?
So, during the Age of Strife, the God Emperor of Man.
Thank you for coming to the show. And was there anything
Where
else
can
that
we
wanted to
find
cover?
you, Brian? You go first. Go
You
on,
want,
go
you want me
first,
to
Brian.
go first?
Yeah, I'll go second, and Pulp can sign us out.
Fair. Okay, I'm gonna have
Because
to
you
remember.
never go first, Brian. It's
Yeah,
time.
you always go last.
I don't mind going last. I'm the introducer person. I'm the navigator. But yeah.
I'm the navigator.
Wait, am I taking that away from you? I don't know what's wrong anymore. All right.
No,
My
it's-
name's Peachy Pixelate. You can find me on twitch.tv/PeachyPixelate. Pulp.
You're doing it
You're
wrong.
Brian his
You're
last
doing
hurrah.
it wrong. Wait,
No.
which right? Pulp.
Okay, me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, I'm Pulp Fiction, a former Instagram model turned variety. Shut up. Turned variety streamer. You can find me on Pulp Fiction. I can't even stop it, Peachy. You can find me on all my social media under Pulp Fiction, except for Twitter. God damn it. I'm all mixed up, which is Plot Fiction because someone took my name. Peachy, god damn it.
I already did mine.
All right.
I already did mine. Brian,
Good
sign
talk.
us out.
So, my name is Brian the Pirate. Thank you all very much for watching, listening. Thank you to my co-hosts, as always, Poochie and Pulp. It's been a fantastic show. If you want to find me, you can find me on Brian the Pirate, or as Brian the Pirate on pretty much every platform, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, and whatever else exists nowadays. Thank you all very much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. Keep an eye out on our Twitter, Fully Rendered TV. We'll be posting some announcements coming up very, very soon.
Oh, very soon.
Episode 20 is going to be a banger, I think. And of course, there's the community event coming up on the 19th. But yes, thank you all once again for
I'm
watching.
excited.
Farewell. We'll remember you.
Bye.